Um, I'm delighted this evening to be giving the opening welcoming remarks. Today is a very special evening for us in Edo State because of the different guest visitors that we have here with us. And coincidentally, all of our guests this evening, whether the Italian ambassador, the chief of party of IOM, the head of global education of the World Bank, there is a commonality, and that commonality is education, skills, and young people. And this represents very clearly the priorities that His Excellency Governor Obaseki is placing on making Edo great again. My role this evening is to introduce our guests from the education sector. We have a delegation from the World Bank led by Dr. Aimee Saavedra, who is the Director of Global Education for the World Bank. We also have Sherazad Latif, who is the Practice Manager for the World Bank for West and Central Africa. We have Samira Alabi, Senior Education Specialist, and she's the Technical Lead for the Accelerator Program. And finally, from the World Bank, we have Martin De Simone. He's an education specialist based out of the Abuja office of the World Bank. Also in the delegation are representatives of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. We have Cleo Dinty-Hack, Senior Program Manager, and Pras Ranavera, Senior Program Manager. And finally, on this delegation are representatives of UNICEF, led by Sahadna Pandey, Chief Education Officer for UNICEF in Nigeria, Yetunde Oluwatosun, Education Specialist, Nigeria, and Samuel Omoma, Education Consultant, Nigeria. On behalf of Edo State, I want to welcome all of you this evening, and I want to say how elated we have been, first working with the World Bank, and then UNICEF, and now the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. I want to say to the notice of everybody here this evening that through the Accelerator Program, which is a program that is funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, supported by the World Bank and UNICEF, it is a program that seeks to eliminate what is called learning poverty. Learning poverty is when a child is 10 years old, they can't read and write fluently. Through the work that we have been doing in our own education sector, by virtue of the vision of His Excellency, Edo is recognized as the only subnational government to be part of the Global Accelerator Program. Thank you. And so we had this delegation here today. They are in Edo visiting us to go around rural schools and see what we are doing at the basic level. They are also particularly interested in the work that we are also doing in our College of Education. I could go on and on about this, but I say all of this just to provide information for everybody. So for Jaime and his team from the World Bank, Sadna and her team from UNICEF, and Cleo and our colleagues from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, I want to say on behalf of all of us in Edo State, Obo here, we are looking forward to the next few days that you are going to be here with us, and we are going to continue to share the work that we are doing. And finally, I've also been asked to introduce a delegation from Udacity. So Udacity is working with Edo Innovates, popularly known as Edo Jobs. And they are here in Edo to train 1,000 young women in digital, 1,000 young women in digital marketing, data science, and web design. They not only train these women, they also help them, they link them up with freelance opportunities to earn foreign currency while residing here in Edo State. So you can see the connection between education, skills, and migration. And so I want to welcome, on behalf of the Edo State government, Renim Medhat Gela, Mohammed Bagat Mustafa, and Emma Noor Ahmed Raslan, Regional Vice President of Africa for Udacity. Thank you very much. And lastly, Your Excellency, the Italian Ambassador, a few weeks ago we had the pleasure of hosting MasterChef Italia, the winner of MasterChef Italia. And our students, our catering students, were very excited to meet her. And we said that we had been inspired by MasterChef to also do the same competition in Edo State. And so the Deputy Italian Ambassador to Nigeria has already pledged that you are going to be one of the judges. And so this is a friendly reminder that you are going to be hearing from us. Thank you very much. Grazie. Thank you, everyone.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Your Excellency. I stand on all protocol already observed. Before I introduce our guests from the IOM, it's important to talk about why they are here, and that is to launch the MMDP 2.0. MMDP, which means Managing Migration Through Development. I was there this afternoon during the lunch, and I was really proud because in 2017, the governor himself deemed it important to begin to discuss and begin to take actionable decisions to ensure that we reduce human trafficking and irregular migration from Edo State. MMDP was one of the projects, programs that started that quest. And MMDP had 4 pillars at the time. One of the pillars, which was headed by Edo Jobs, they did a great job at that, training and empowering over 160,000 young people in Edo State. We had the Human Trafficking Task Force, did a lot of work in rehabilitating returnees, about almost 6,000 returnees. We had C4 project that looked into ensuring that there was a lot of focus on at-risk communities in Edo State. And we also had the IOM, who has always been there from the start, reintegrating and resettling returnees from Edo State. After 2007 and 5 years later, we are still talking about MMDP, a testament to the sort of governor we have in Edo State. Please, can you clap for our governor? Today, when people talk about human trafficking and talk about irregular migration, 5 years ago, they would say 90% of trafficking you find in Nigeria comes from Edo State. 60% of irregular migration you find in Nigeria comes from Edo State. Today, we can talk about that where we see a reduction. People outside of Edo State see the impact, see the work that is being done. Our governor is very committed. He's here today. I was telling our partners that he's never missed one meeting that has to do with human trafficking and irregular migration. I am very proud to have the opportunity to work with him. I'm very proud to have the opportunity to work with a lot of my colleagues that I see here today. But I'm also very proud of the Italian government for taking another stab at this. You know, we are talking about MMBC 2.0. We looked at the things that we did very well, and we looked at the things that we didn't do so well, or maybe they were just gaps or things that were omitted, and we are doing something about it. Because people like the Italian government believe in that. The governor of Edo State stands by it, and the IOM is here to implement it. I want to use this opportunity to introduce our guest today. We already know His Excellency Stefano De Leo has been introduced. We have here the Chief of IOM Nigeria, Laurent Dubois. I had the privilege of meeting him in Egypt when he was heading Egypt. I did some work with him on anti-trafficking and in sports, and I'm really happy to see you here again today. Welcome. We have Victor Letenko. He's the head of sub-office in Lagos. Welcome to Edo State. We have Witana Tarangeng, sorry. IOM Head of Operations Benin, very dear friend. We have Aibeze, a very dear friend as well, IOM Senior Project Officer. We have Baranedum Agara. We have Saprin. We have Ines from Tanzania. IOM, we just want to thank you all for being here. We look forward to great work with you. Let's enjoy and look forward to great work. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you very much. Of the government, I know many of you are here for a special event. An event that brings together Edo State with the governor and all his people, the international community, because I see here World Bank, UNICEF, women that bring training to Edo State for other women, and we have IOM, and we have also diplomats like me, the Italian ambassador, who wants to highlight that today we talk about a very important thing, which is education. We launched today, together with IOM, this very important project that is managing migration to development. Italy put in 2 million euros in this project, which is lasting for 2 years, because we strongly believe that the project of economic development and growth by the government of Edo State, especially by His Excellency the Governor, needs to be supported. And the project is shaped and is innovative because it's not based on our ideas. It's based to support exactly the program and the project that have been drafted by the government of Edo State. So we are fully in line with development policies put together by the stakeholders of the country. Education is very important because if people are not educated and if people are not skilled, their destiny is not favorable. With IOM, we try to bring back returnees, volunteer returnees, who get training and job opportunities. Women are trained, men are trained, but women are, of course, a very important element of society. So gender policy, gender-based policy is also very important. And we brought here in November a Nigerian lady who lives in Italy and won a cooking contest, Italy MasterChef Italy 2022, to show one thing. We brought her to Nigeria, back to Edo State, where she's from. She's from Benin City. And after 17 years, she came back. And you can imagine how a Nigerian woman feels when she's back at home. That means that all people who migrate, at the end, linked by culture, by relatives, by emotions to their homeland. And coming back gives a huge emotion, especially if you come back with a success story, or if you come back to invest in your own country, as we Italians did in the past. So education is very important. And let me indicate one phrase that I took from an American president who says that in the long term, there's only one thing that is more expensive than education. It's no education. Because if people are not educated, it will always be an expenditure. If people are educated, they transform subsidies in revenues. And this is at the end what we want to achieve. And let me also say that we are very much ambitious. We don't want only to support projects and programs which are important and are a strategic way to support communities and individuals. We want to partner. We want to become a direct partner of Edo State, bringing to Nigeria and to Edo State jobs, investments, and training opportunities. So with the governor, we're discussing in the near future some relevant partnerships with Italian institutions that can invest and bring job opportunities and training not only to Nigeria, but also help Nigerians to invest in their own countries, because many of them who live in Italy, we have 150,000 Nigerians living in Italy, are already part of Italian society and are ready to invest in their own country. So bringing in Italian businessmen, bringing him into Edo State job opportunities will be the next step. And I'm already very happy to work on it with the governor and with the members of the Edo State government. So today it's a very important day, but it's only a starting point, because what we do today can be reciprocated and implemented and increased in the next months and years together with you, because we are all working together to make Edo State and Nigeria a huge hub of opportunities. At the end, Europe and Africa have to come together, and the sooner we understand this, the sooner we try to implement what is necessary to make this country grow and to be an important hub for all of us. So thanks to all of you. I wish that you can really work together here in Edo State with the agencies, with the governor, and Italy is partnering with you and with all those who want to make Edo State a for migration and for the population. So thank you very much. Enjoy your evening, and let's enjoy this wonderful dinner, state dinner offered by the governor. Thank you.
Distinguished guests, colleagues, first of all, I want to thank you, everyone here, for the hospitality, for giving us the privilege and the honor not only to be here during these days visiting Benin City and Edo State, but also for giving us the opportunity to be partners in the extremely important mission that the governor has put in front of all of us. We here in Edo, in Nigeria, in the world, we face a huge challenge. We face what I call a silent crisis. A silent crisis that is that we don't see every day anyone dying, but a crisis in which we see so many kids, so many children across the whole world, right, who even if they go to school, they are not learning and they're not getting the skills that they need in order to succeed in life. And that's a challenge that we have everywhere, including Nigeria, including Edo. However, in order to confront that challenge, what we need is not only good technical decisions and good technical designs, but what we need is political commitment and political will. And that's the part that is much more difficult to see in many countries. In many countries, we see the problem, we see the technical solutions, but what we don't see is the political will to take the hard decisions that are needed in order to reform education. And that is one of the reasons why we call the Edo State what we call an accelerator state, right? That together with only other 10 countries in the world are countries in which we see that there is a problem, there is a challenge, but there is a political will to address the challenge. There is a political will to make sure that children who are going to school learn. And some 3 or 4 years ago, right, the governor and the commissioner had very clear that we need to make sure that all teachers are there, but that's not enough. We need to make sure that the teachers who are in the school have the right engagement, the right interaction with students, because it is in that interaction where we see the magic of learning. And we know not only we need to do that, we need to make sure that not only that there is a good interaction, that we need to make sure that all kids learn, that all children learn, that all those 50 children in a classroom, that all of them learn, not only the ones who are sitting in the front. We need teachers who understand that their commitment is that all students have to learn. And the government of Edo has also made a great bet with technology, of using technology efficiently in order to leverage the work of the teachers. So what we're seeing in Edo is a glimpse of the future, because the future is about that combination between technology and the human factor. The future is about using technology in order to make sure that teachers and principals and headmasters and everyone working on education do their job as best as they can. So what we see here in Edo is a glimpse of the future that we would like to see in many other parts of the world. That right combination of using technology in order to make sure that all the people who are involved in education do as best as they can, and that we leverage their work, right, in order to make sure that we give students the education that they deserve. So I just want to finish congratulating everyone here who is involved in education, right? The chairwoman of SUBEB, the commissioner, the governor, and all those teams who are today working on education, working night and day in order to improve the quality of the service that we give our children. If we succeed on that, we're going to succeed in terms of giving all those children the opportunity to be citizens that contribute to the future of the state and will make this state great. Thank you very much, and thank you for the honor of working together with you.
Is work in progress, and making Edo great again is a collective responsibility for all of us. Next to also address us this evening.
In Edo, we visited some schools today and were very impressed by the results and great teachers teaching. So very much looking forward to seeing more in the coming days. And us at the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation are very much focused on guaranteeing that every child gets a quality education, especially in early primary school. And it's very heartening to see states like Edo taking this seriously. So looking forward to the continuation of the visits.
It's really fantastic to be here. Let me say how delighted we are as UNICEF to be partnering with Edo State. It was really wonderful to go out to the schools today. I've had the opportunity over the past year to travel to schools across the country and to see the example from Edo and what is possible was just heartwarming. And as UNICEF, we are in 190 countries across the world, and I must say that we really look forward to taking the Edo Best program not only to other states in Nigeria, but to many countries across the world, because I think many other countries could learn from the example of Edo State. And that's our commitment to you. So we will look for the platforms for His Excellency the Governor, as well as the Honorable Commissioner, to share how you've done it, not just what you've achieved, but how you've been able to achieve it. I want to restate the commitment of our former country representative, Peter Hawkins. I know that he met His Excellency the Governor, and the partnership was formed because of the commitment and passion of His Excellency to turn things around on education. I also want to restate the commitment of our current country representative, Christiane Monduate. She just joined us about 3 months ago. She's absolutely committed to continue the work. So know that we will be partnering with you on many things, on skills development, on digital learning, and on a whole host of things where we can bring technical support. So thank you very much for having us today, and you will definitely see us coming back and forth to take things from Edo to the other states, but also to bring the bit of technical support that you need to take Edo Best to the next level. Thank you very much.
A month ago, in my new function as Chief of Mission in Nigeria. But it's a privilege and an honor, actually, to be here, particularly because we have discussed this morning on launching of a new program, which has shown a diversified panel of speakers, from the Deputy Governor to institutions, government institutions, non-governmental organizations, as well as citizens. And I saw there a diversified approach, but a diversified approach which all have one thing in common: it's faith. And I look at those in believing in the future of the state and of Nigeria. The returnees, those youth who looked at migration as a solution, they still believe in Nigeria as their future. And I think it responds to one of the important aspects of Edo, if I understood well: faith and unity. And they were unified in the message they passed, that they believe in the future of Edo. Also, the second aspect I have notified is the fact that indeed they believe in progress. They believe in through their faith in themselves, in this state, that they can commit themselves to make it a progress. They have a peaceful approach of welcoming anyone coming back, and believing in investing in its own future with the community level, with the support of others, that, and the second aspect I understand from Edo, that in a peaceful way we can believe in progress together. And in that, I really welcome the support of the governor of Edo, who is believing in those youth, encouraging them to believe in themselves in a peaceful manner, being reintegrated, looking at their future and at their progress. And this is something which has been understood by Italy, and we really appreciate the support we give for us to provide that assistance to all those people, making Edo and making Nigeria a better future. Thank you.
Governor Godwin Obaseki, esteemed guests, all protocols observed. I'm very happy to be standing here today, witnessing the fruition of the vision and strong leadership of His Excellency the Governor into accelerating the development of skills of women from rural areas in Edo to become world-class professionals competing with the talents of the world. We have run together a very successful partnership program which resulted in the majority of women being able to be placed in digital jobs through the online digital freelancing marketplaces, having decent earnings from the vicinity of their own homes in parallel to their work, in parallel to their commitment towards family or towards education. We have seen empowerment, but we have seen the courage, interest, engagement, and appetite of women from all around Edo to create a different reality for themselves. This couldn't have been possible if it hasn't been for the vision of His Excellency the Governor, the commitment of the Edo Innovates and the Edo Job institution and organization for making everything possible and removing all the barriers. We believe that digital skills are also like technical skills that we need today, but they are empowerment for everyone to be exposed to the world, to have different means for earnings, different markets for jobs, and different realities and different transformation of their own lives. We renew our pledge and our commitment to continue to participate with the Edo state government into making this a reality for every woman in Edo for the next few years. And we'd like to thank the state government and every institution who was involved to make this possible. Thank you.
Governor of Edo State, the technocrat in power, the man that is changing the face of governors, His Excellency Godwin Obaseki.
Thank you. Please be seated. The Country Director for IOM, Country Director for UNICEF, Yami, one of our support 5 years ago when we started Edo Best, he was one of those who said, you know what, go guy, I think you're on the right track. I also want to welcome and thank our partners from Obaseki and all of you who have come in this evening. In fact, you know, I have been out of the city for the last 2 days. I had to go do some political stuff outside. And just reading through the various mails, and I said, wow, my city has been invaded. I have, you know, some foreign invasion of Edo State. And I was asking, how come everybody decided to come on the same day to Edo for their programs? IOM, you know, launching the MMPD 2.0. The Italian ambassador accompanied them. Yami and his team decided to come all on the 5th of December 2023. I said, well, that must be a special day. So I want to welcome and thank all of you for coming, but more importantly, to thank you for the support you have given us over the last several years. You know, people talk about our achievements, but it's, you know, for us, we know that we will not have achieved a fraction of what we have without your support, encouragement, and push. Tonight is very interesting. For many of you who don't know, the Commissioner for Education tried to put together that thread that links everybody who's here tonight and all the things we've been doing together, you know, in the last several years. When we came into office in 2016, we had a catastrophe. We had a crisis. Our young people did not want to stay here anymore. Anywhere else but home, they all wanted to emigrate. The traffickers had a field day. The reputation of the state was at its lowest ebb. You had transport services in this town who on a nightly basis just carted away young people with the promise of getting them to Europe or somewhere they could get a better life. And I'm talking about tens of buses every night from the city. At one point in time, we had over 30,000 young men and women from this city waiting in Tangier, Libya, to cross over to Europe. That was the level of a crisis we met. And here I was contesting an election. I could not talk about it because it was not politically correct to do so. So coming into office, for us, it was the number one issue we had to face. Professor Oborebe is not here, but these are my colleagues who I worked with once I assumed office to try and understand what was going on. And it was clear that our society had failed our young ones. For them, anywhere else but home. And for us, that was dangerous. So, looking back today, we want to thank the Swiss government and the IOM because we realized that if we did not tackle this problem, we would have had a social failure. And the first thing we did was admit that we had a problem. Before I came as a governor, nobody wanted to. They said this was a source of foreign exchange. This was a trade that was supporting families. Don't talk about it. You will lose votes, you will lose elections. But we came in and we had the courage to say, no, we cannot continue this way. And we're working with the IOM, the very early stages. We were able to now set up a task force. And I want to thank Dr. May and all of those of you who came and supported us to promulgate our own law regulating human trafficking in Edo State. Set up a task force that worked with the IOM such that every flight of returnees that came in, we had officials of Edo State government go into those planes to welcome our children back home. And in that process, we were able to collect enough data to understand the root causes of this crisis. And the root cause, as we found out, was the quality of our educational system, particularly our basic educational system. The basic educational system had broken down, and children were no longer learning. Teachers were not being paid. And that's where we cried for help and decided that we had to focus on foundational education. And when we went to the World Bank, Yami and his team were there and said, you're thinking right, we will support. So when we fast forward and today and look back and say, what have we accomplished? With the support of partners in the World Bank and people like the UNICEF coming on, we have been able to key into the current thinking globally that foundational education matters. Foundational education is what is most important in any system. And I want to appreciate and thank our Commissioner for Education, Joan Obiawe, who had withstood all the bullets. And she's still, I don't know where she's doing it, she's still withstanding all the bullets in our efforts to transform our educational system. Edo Best has been acclaimed a success globally because of the kind of work Joan and our colleagues have done over the last 5 years or more. We're here tonight, I'm sure, reviewing what we've done, seeing how we've added on to the foundational work we've done. And We have people like Obaseki who have come to support our efforts in providing vocational training and support to young women who otherwise will not have access to digital training and education. See, we can only say we are in the middle of a journey. We started a process. We cannot go back. Sustainability is now what we need to focus on. We've shown the world that we can do it. We've shown the world that, you know what? We can transform ourselves and transform our society. We've given our children hope. In the area of migration, today we're sitting back. We're not talking about how to stop traffickers. We have actually stopped them on their trail. We've gone to the next level to say, you know what? Migration is a global phenomenon. People must move. People must migrate. The important thing is, how can they do so legally? And that's why I want to appreciate and thank the Italian ambassador, who've taken on this challenge to look at migration from a different lens, from a more progressive lens. To say, yes, you have the second generation of Edo's Nigerians who have migrated to Europe. There must be benefits for both societies. Rather than create a situation for bootleggers, for people to take advantage of aspirational young people, why can't we create legal windows, legal structures for people to migrate when they want to migrate? How can we make migration mutually beneficial, both to the societies where people are moving out of and those societies where people are moving into? COVID has changed the dynamics of the world. There are opportunities for our young people here in Europe. How can we partner with European governments to train our young people to be placed properly and safely for work in their societies? So I want to thank the Italian ambassador, who tonight has, exposed me to some amazing information and opportunities. We have now agreed that we will step up the relationship between Edo and Europe, and particularly provinces in Italy where large numbers of Edos reside. We told me tonight about the province of Veneto and the steps and moves he's making to make sure that by the spring of next year, we undertake a major roadshow to expose the opportunities we have in various areas for our young people in the Veneto region, and how the Venetian businessmen can also come here and take opportunities of the advantages we have. It's beyond economy, it's beyond business. He also told me tonight that next year, December 5th, will mark 200 years when an Italian archaeologist came to this land and died here and was buried in Guato. So for me, it was just so enamoring that here we are talking about a return of artifacts and relationships, and we are now beginning to see real evidences of what has happened and our relationship with the West spanning the last several centuries. We have, with the support of the World Bank, with the kind of financing we have received through the P4R, now ensure that Edo Best has come to stay. We have moved to Edo Best 2.0. So we've moved beyond restructuring foundational education and now to say, where will these children who have now benefited from a solid foundation, where do they move to in the education spectrum? How do we fix middle education? How do we fix technical education? How do we provide more vocations for these children who have gone through our systems? So as you look through what we've accomplished in our basic educational system, I think the focus for us now must be on the next stage. How do we ensure we keep the children in schools, not only for 6 years, but for 9 years under our care, and give them life skills to make sure that even if they don't have the privilege of going to school beyond the 9th grade, they are able to succeed in life. So we, as a government, have come to realize that we are limited because of the resources we're limited by resources. The bulk of the limitation is not cash, it's capacity. How do you help us build our capacity? Because without building capacity in government, without building the capacity in the teacher corps, without building capacity in the enforcement agencies, we could slip back to where we're coming from. This administration has 24 months left, and our whole focus is sustainability. How do we ensure we sustain what you have helped us start and entrenched so far? Sometimes we feel it's going to be difficult to go back, but, you know, we're all students of history. So I want to end this long speech by once again thanking our friends, particularly the IOM. Now our relationship has gotten closer because we have people now giving us money together. The Italians have given us money. I'm sure a few other European governments, the Germans are going to give us money. So we're now, you know, working much closer because we have resources to do what we need to do. But we'll always emphasize that how do we build more capacity to ensure that we sustain what we have achieved. For Audacity, I want to thank you for our girls. The first cohort of 441 girls, 60% of them are here, have gotten jobs. They've been employed. The next cohort is going to be in the spring, February next year, and we think it's going to be equally successful. And we'll do everything that we need to do to support, you know, that program. We want to thank the World Bank because as part of the P4RO, the P4RO funding goes to programs like what Audacity is running for us. And you can see, you know, how much of a reach that your funding is helping us attain as a government. Tonight, it shouldn't be so much about speeches. We've had a very, very long day, so we don't want to keep you. And tomorrow, I know the World Bank, the Army and the World Bank team still have a lot of work to do and inspections to just check to make sure we're using your money right. And so I want to end tonight by saying thank you. Thank you. No more claps? And thank you. So, and I just can't say thank you without leaving a bit of Edo with you as you go back. So, I'm going to now, on instructions of the MC, give some piece of Edo to all of you that have come. Even the Italian ambassador that has some piece of Edo will have additional pieces of Edo as he goes back.
Invite the Chief of Mission, International Organization for Migration, Laureate de Bauke. The head of the World Bank delegation, the Director of Global Education, Amin Sadeveratra. We'll also invite and from UNICEF, Sahadna Pandey. And the last, before His Excellency takes a seat, Uda City Regional Vice President, Africa, Emma Ruslan. We next will invite the Honorable Commissioner for Education, Dr. Joan Osaviawe. Your hands together for His Excellency. He deserves a standing ovation, please. Let's give it up for this man of vision, a man of courage, a man that has changed the face and dignity of the Edo nation. Thank you, Your Excellency. More grace to your elbows.
I'm just here to say thank you for the time that you have chosen to come and spend with us in Edo. We definitely appreciate all the value that you add to us through the relationship that we currently have with our states. And for those of you that are in my education party, we've spent a lot of time having conversations about how to indeed sustain the reforms that have already been started. This to say thank you for a lovely night. Thank you for spending time with us here. Tomorrow we continue with our itinerary. And thank you, everybody. Good night. Thank you.
Edo, you raise your right hand and you just follow His Excellency like that. Ladies and gentlemen, with that we come to the end of this very wonderful dinner that His Excellency has put together for this very rise, the national anthem of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The Edo anthem is next.
The glory of the new Edo nation will forever be our pride. Beautiful Edo, glorious Edo, you're the heartbeats of Nigeria. Beautiful Edo, glorious Edo, stars are singing over you. You're the land people dream to be.
Thank you very much. Upstage, Your Excellency.
who's gone through